how to solder a few of the different pieces. We'll take a look at the different types of strips that are here. So let's go. So here's what we'll need. One strip any length of Modeler's Brand Double-Density LEDTape, a tube of solder, a power source, whether battery or wall wart. Either way, it should be 6 volts to 12 volts, direct current, DC. Every 3 LEDs seems to take about 20 milliamps, scissors, and a soldering iron, and you're good to go. Here are some optional options that you also might want to have on hand. Wire strippers are always good to have, and in this case, if you have a battery lead or are wiring this into another situation, if you have to strip them anyway, then you're all set. If they're pre-stripped, great. And in this case, it's nice and heavy, so it actually holds down the wire strip pretty well. Most LED tape is labeled positive and negative, but 1 or 2 of them aren't, so you need another way to figure out what they are. As it happens, 12-volt power supply plugged in right now. This is negative, this is positive. So what we'll do is give it a test. If you don't have a wall power supply on hand, simply take your battery, plug that in. Red is pretty much always positive, and we'll touch the ends. You can see this is a bit dimmer at 9 volts, and at 6 volts it's even dimmer. So anywhere between 6 and 12 volts you're doing good. In the milliamps, I think it's really kind of surprising. It doesn't seem to be 20 milliamps each, but 20 milliamps every 3. So that brings the power consumption way down. So having identified positive and negative, positive is on the right, take the battery off and we'll wire this in. There's a couple ways you can approach this. If you have a set of helping hands, you can have one of them holding the solder or the wire, or either of the two, because you can't use a soldering iron and hold the wire and get the solder in there to really do the job. So 2 of these 4 things has to be fixed. But there's a trick around that kind of works 50-50 so far with me. What I'm doing here is slicing up really small, tiny slices of the solder. Now, if we don't lose them all, essentially what we can do, like I said, if I don't lose them all, there we go. So essentially what we're doing is pre-soldering. This helps for a more secure connection as well. The idea is to get the copper itself really hot so that the solder really glues to it. Having done that, sorry about that, the camera stopped, but it gives me a good chance to zoom in here a little. So having steady hands will probably help you out a lot. I don't, unfortunately. And having some kind of extra visor with lenses will also do you good too. Oh yes, much better. So what I'm trying to do here is there isn't quite enough solder on either connection, and neither of them is definitely hot enough to really get a good bond. So you want to hold that back down here to get the copper nice and hot. Then, now I've got a basic connection here, but really what I want to do, whether this is absolutely correct or not, is just get a little extra more solder in there. And hopefully not lose it. You just gotta stay real still for a few seconds. These wires are close, but if that happens, just grab yourself another handy tool, such as electrical tape, and simply put it inside and tape off one side or the other, or both. Let's say this is too long. Well, don't go cutting it. Unplug it first. Then you'll see all these pairs of copper and sometimes silver terminals. Cut right down the middle with any good sharp scissors, and you're all set. Don't bother using an X-Acto. It won't work. Not as well, at least, nor as clean. So what you can do is cut this into each 3 or 6 or 9 LEDs, hot wire those together, simply go positive to positive and negative negative with a different set of wires, and instead of wiring up one resistor or per LED or per group of LEDs, it's all done for you. All you're doing is soldering 2 terminals together. So in fact, what I'm going to do here, build some strength into the system. We've already isolated one wire from the other. Now group them together like this. And then really secure it like this. Now that's a stable connection. So that's it for soldering Modeler's Brand Double-Density LED-Tape. This has been Model Man for Modeler's Brand. See ya.